Welcome back in. Welcome back in. It's your boy Mike coming back at y'all, man. Super Bowl Sunday as we prepare to take on the AFC champion Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this Super Bowl is going to be taking place in Atlanta, so pretty far flight for both teams. No one really has a leg up. We visited the Pro Bowl rosters at the conclusion of the last episode, so tune in there if you missed it and want to see who around the league made those teams. Were a few that were a little shocking, but nonetheless all deserving. And as we take a look at the path taken from each team, we'll start here with the Raiders. They clobbered the 5-seed Bills, squeaked by the 6-seed Browns, and then squeaked by the 7-seed Patriots. So hosted every round up until they made it here. As far as the Cardinals, just an absolute undressing of the Rams in the divisional round. Kept the pedal to the metal against the Cowboys, and that brings us here where we are now. Super Bowl Sunday, second straight year, trying to go back to back. Now it's time for a little bit of Super Bowl Media Day action. They're asking how if having one ring, kind of aids in keeping the team leveled and, ready to go. And we think that it does. I think that having a Super Bowl winning coach who knows how to command his locker room, knows how to manage a group of guys is certainly something valuable to have. And now let's move on to the yearly awards, and Dak Prescott taking home league MVP honors ahead of the likes of Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Tua. Unfortunately, no Cardinals here on this list. However, we are happy to be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl over just some, regular season hardware. And Kenny Pickett down there at 10th threw 73 yards in his loss in the second round. As far as coach of the year, of course, we did at 15-2 go ahead and secure that. I thought it might be a toss-up between us and Mike Tomlin, but we did go ahead and get that. Offensive player of the year in the AFC going to go to Josh Jacobs, who we will be going against. Max Crosby, ninth on defensive player of the year. Myles Garrett takes that home. Offensive rookie of the year, you got Crothers for Miami. I was thinking that Nolan Broyles might have taken that home. We saw how dynamic he could be. Defensive rookie of the year, defensive tackle Philip Cooper, one of the best defensive players on this Raiders team, and he pays it off with some hardware in his first year. Shocked that Raekwon Robinson, who went number 1 overall, barely made it into the top 3, but it is what it is. Joe Burrow taking home best quarterback. You see the list down there. Travis Gardner finishing in 10th. Josh Jacobs, of course, taking home best running back as well. Interesting to see Damian Pearson there. T. Higgins finishing as the best receiver, and Jamar Chase number 3, while Devontae Adams finishes number 2 for the Raiders. Andre James, Raiders center, finishes 3rd for best O-lineman, going to Trey Smith of the Kansas City Chiefs. And you see Will Hernandez, former Cardinal, down there as well. Myles Garrett getting best defensive lineman. Philip Cooper finishing 9th in that one as well. Best linebacker, TJ Watt, shocker. Alex Highsmith finishing number 3 as well. That was very sarcastic, by the way. Max Crosby finishing 4th. Best DB, you got Pat Surtain, Chidobe Awuzie, and Kenny Moore as the top 3, with Surtain taking it home. Raekwon Robinson did break into that list as well at number 5. And you see Cam Dantzler down there at 10 for the Raiders. Zane Gonzalez finishing things off at best kicker, with Daniel Carlson of the Raiders finishing in 10th. Now in the NFC, our conference, Saquon, Offensive Player of the Year honors goes to him. Ty Davis-Price finishing just 4th, and Rashad Bateman 8th. Not used to having him so low performing, but Jalen Johnson gets Defensive Player of the Year over over Aaron Donald. You also see B.J. Ojolari, Amani Harris, and Andrew Stinson all in the conversation. Rookie receiver Shamir Allen and rookie tight end Conrad Gregg for the Cowboys finishing 1st and 3rd respectively in Offensive Rookie of the Year. And of course, who else would it be? Defensive Rookie of the Year going to Amani Harris of our own team. Lamar Searcy for the Giants going to Xavier Moorhead, the standout for the Rams, finishing in 3rd. Dak finishing at the top for best quarterback. Glenn Roberts there at number 6, sneaking his way up little by little. Ty Davis-Price wins best running back. Surprised to see that, either he or Saquon didn't win both. But I digress. Best receiver goes to Chris Godwin of the Bucks, with Rashad Bateman finishing number 2, being the only Cardinal to make that list, while all 3 of the Cowboys receivers made best receiver. Dalton Murray, our center, winning best offensive lineman, only one to make that list. Aaron Donald taking home best defensive line honors over Micah Parsons. DeMarcus Lawrence in there as well. Again, no Cardinals, but BJ Ojulari taking home best linebacker, and he had his best season to date. Zaven Collins and Cam Wilhelm at 2 and 3, and then best DB is just dominated by Arizona. Jalen Johnson, of course, doubling up Defensive Player of the Year and best DB. Amani Harris, Andrew Stinson, Jalen Thompson, and Lewis Seen all making the list at 2, 3, 4, and 7. Cam Dicker winning it for best kicker. No missed kicks on the season. Very well deserved. And let's go ahead and take a look at how these teams got to this point. We saw the playoff path. Arizona, of course, we started out with a win over the Niners, hard-fought game against Carolina, got wins over the Colts, and the Texans were a very, very difficult game. That was a shocker. Nearly lost that one. Eagles blasting us, but coming back with the Ravens. Titans, Bears, finally getting our win over the Bears after all these years. Niners getting the monkey off their back in a win in week 9 over us as well. Falcons, Saints, of course, Saints, a game you didn't see, and I am sorry about that again. That was a really dynamic game. And then post-bye week, just absolute numbers on the offensive end. And in the postseason, as we mentioned, Rams 34-0, Cowboys 42-24. On the other side, the Raiders started their season off with a loss against the Chargers before winning their next 3, and then getting hammered by the Cowboys and losing to the Jags to go to 3-3. And they were very flip-floppy, 4-4. And then you see they won 4 straight games to get to 8-4 before losing their next 3, dropping them to 8-7, and then a win against the Chargers, avenging that 3-point loss with a 3-point win, losing to the Broncos in week 18, still making the playoffs at 9-8, handling the Bills at home, beating the Browns at home, and beating the Patriots at home. So now it's going to be time for both of these teams to take on the quote-unquote cream of the crop of the other conference. As you see, Jalen Johnson now with those upgrades finally at a pure 90 overall. He is playing up to a 93, and I mean, look at the coverage. 99 man, 93 zone, 96 press, 89 jumping. Speed still not amazing, at 90, but certainly workable. Amani Harris sneaking his way up the ladder as well, as he's up to an 88 overall, also one of the best in the league as far as man coverage goes. And then BJ Ojulari, who is coming off of a sack in each of our first 2 playoff games. He's going to be a big effort, or a big part of what we want to make happen here in the Super Bowl. We'll need him to be firing on all cylinders. But the first things first for the Raiders, they will be out left guard without left guard Dylan Parham. Not a great player by any means, but serviceable. And I mean, at this point in the season, you never want to be missing anyone that's starting. But he's not the only one. As you see, Trayvon Merrick, Tyree Wilson, and Patrick Queen all say uninjured, but they're all on injured reserve. And I've seen this happen a few times. Not sure if they'll play. If they don't, those are all critical pieces that they'll be missing defensively. Ty Davis Price up to superstar X Factor to join Rashad Bateman and Trey McBride. Jalen Johnson up to a superstar Andrew Stinson at X Factor, and Amani Harris also getting into superstar development along with Jalen Thompson. While you see Cam Thomas, I was shocked about that one. Didn't think that he had a season deserving of a superstar X Factor, but he gets it here. And now taking a look at some of the guys to watch for the Raiders, it starts with Davante Adams, still one of the best in the league here at 32 years old. And we know what Davante Adams is about. One of, if not the best route runners in the entire league, even at his advanced age, for a receiver. And I mean, he can do it all. Short, deep, medium routes. He's one of the most sure-handed catchers in the league, elite with the ball in his hands. And, if you have a soft spot in that zone or give him an ability to beat someone off of press coverage, he will take advantage of it. And it's going to be aided by the presence of Josh Jacobs in the backfield. We saw with those awards how dominant he's been throughout this season. He was one of the guys fighting with us, well, with Ty Davis Price to lead the league in rushing. He ended up third, while Davis Price ultimately ended up second. But I mean, look at this: 95 trucking, 94 juke, 91 speed isn't bad. 96 stiff arm. He's not gonna fumble. 99 break tackle as well. Has some ability out of the backfield. I mean, this is a more advanced and slightly slower Ty Davis Price if I've ever seen one. And also their second-year quarterback, Travis Garner, he drafted 5th overall a season ago. And he's up to a true 81 overall, but playing up to an 83. And I see some similarities to Glenn Roberts. They both have really, really good throw power. His deep accuracy and short accuracy are elite. Medium accuracy, still a work in progress, has some speed to him to evade tacklers in the pocket, maybe get a little bit outside from time to time. And he's also going to have left tackle Colton Miller in there to block for him. One of the best left tackles in the league here at 29 years old now, 89 overall, playing up to a 91. One of the best, we said best left tackles, one of the best pass blocking offensive linemen that we have in the league. And no, he's not elite as a run blocker, but when you have a back like Josh Jacobs in the backfield, being able to give him even the smallest hole, might be the difference between a loss of yardage and a pickup of 10, 15, 20 yards. Now shifting to the defense, Max Crosby, 28 years old. And I mean, you want to talk about a guy that doesn't get his flowers as deserved. Max Crosby can get to the quarterback in any number of ways. I mean, is he TJ Watt? Probably not, but who is? But to be even considered in that discussion has to be something to be proud of. We'll be making sure to keep an eye on him each and every snap, as he has the skill set to really blow up an offensive game plan. And then Phillip Cooper, Defensive Rookie of the Year this season, out of Alabama, 22 years old, superstar X factor. And at 6'5", 306, he has a lot of strength. Really big mountain of a man, 91 strength, 88 power moves. He can disrupt the run game with his, just pure size, and definitely going to be somebody along with Max Crosby that you need to keep an eye on. And if Tyree Wilson plays, you're talking about a three-headed threat. Now moving into the secondary, Jeremy Chinn, not the number one corner on this team. That honor belongs to Nate Hobbs. But I think that Jeremy Chinn's transition from safety to corner with his speed and his ability to tackle could be something that, create some problems for our offense. He is one of the taller corners in the league, has really, really good speed, and, they've made the Super Bowl some kind of way, and I'm sure that Jeremy Chinn has been a big part of the reason why they were able to get to this point. But now here we are. You see the Cardinals rocking their all reds. Raiders going with the all whites. I really like the detail of the numbers on the uniforms for the Raiders with that design. Man, and here we go. Cardinals ready to get into battle. They've been here before. This is a place that they are familiar with. As you see Glenn Roberts there, Raiders now out coming onto the field. Travis Garner not celebrating, but getting a little bit hype for the crowd, for his teammates, for himself. And it is time, man. Here we are at the coin toss. You see both teams sending their captains out into the middle of the field. And this is going to be a dog fight. Antonio Gibson, looks like the Cardinals are going to start off with the ball. Had 2 return touchdowns for us this season. Daniel Carlson kicking off for the Raiders. 86 kickoffs, only allowed 7 of them to be returned. But here we are. It gets no bigger than this. Let's go ahead and meet the rest of this Raiders team. At quarterback, Travis Garner, of course, as we mentioned. Jimmy Garoppolo still in town as the backup. Jameis Winston there as the third guy. Josh Jacobs at running back. You got rookie Jeremiah Byers, who scored a touchdown in this postseason. Another rookie in Stanley, and then a second-year back in Caldwell. They're going young behind him. Taylor Bergstrom at fullback. At receiver, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers going to be those top 3. And then you got Patrick Wilson, second-year speedster, who should rotate in a little bit here and there. Michael Mayer and Josh Oliver, those top 2 tight ends. The speedy Okwegbunam there as the third guy. Colton Miller at left tackle. Mike Easley filling in for injured Dylan Parham at left guard. Andre James and Will Hernandez, the center and right guard, of course, former Cardinal. And Calvin McGee, second-year man at right tackle. Left end, you got Bilal Nichols, right end, you're going to go ahead and have Peyton Turner, former Saint. Defensive tackles, Philip Cooper and Jamal Coleman, both rookies. And then you got Marlon T. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Max Crosby at left outside linebacker, definitely going to be one of those primary edge rushers. Gil Henson and Amari Burney, the middle linebackers, with Baron Browning there as well, an option to use at middle linebacker or as an edge rusher. Nate Hobbs, Jeremy Chin, and Cam Dantzler, the top three corners for this team. Jacorian Bennett, now in his third season, still hasn't broken into that top three rotation, but someone who should get plenty of playing time. Xavier Woods and Marcus May going to be that safety tandem, with Daniel Carlson at kicker and AJ Cole at punter. And now we are underway. Super Bowl season. Gibson back deep to return, and he'll start things out with a return before he's laid out at the 21-yard line. And Glenn Roberts, biggest game of his career, was going through a pretty tough stretch throughout the first probably season and a half, but he finished the season with 50 touchdowns and 29 picks, 4,439 yards, has been spectacular for us getting to this point, and we'll see how much he has really learned and grown throughout these 2+ years that he's been with the team. But they're going to start out with a handoff to Ty Davis Price, one of their best players, of course, and it's going to go for a gain of about 3. Now 2nd and 7. Roberts again going to line up under center. Roberts going to fake it to Ty Davis Price. You see Max Crosby there in pursuit. Roberts trying to get the ball away, but he's going to be hit. Ball is out, makes a crazy bounce into the back of the end zone, and the Raiders starting the game off with a strip sack from Max Crosby, forcing the safety, and they're going to be up 2-0 early. Now I wanted to take a second look at this. As you see, I thought that I got the ball away before Crosby actually made contact. So I wanted to just make sure I wasn't crazy. And I mean, the way, it's Madden. The ball bounces a little bit funny. You got to live with it. No review. Raiders set to get the ball after just 2 plays. And that could be something that comes back to haunt Arizona, getting the ball first. Or I guess rather giving the ball away so early and then knowing the Raiders get the ball at the half, something that they're going to have to overcome. But here's Travis Garner, 4,204 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions on the season. And now it's his turn to show what he can propel this offense to against the defense that has not exactly been very forgiving in this postseason. And they'll start with Josh Jacobs, who has a gain of just 2. Now 2nd and 8. And you see they're going to have 2 receivers each side. He's going to go to the right side. And here's Devontae Adams hauling in his first catch of the Super Bowl, gain of 7. Now an early 3rd down and manageable for the Raiders. And if you're Arizona, you want to get them off the field as Zaven Collins misses a tackle, would have ended the drive. But instead, Jacobs finds space out to the 42-yard line and a fresh set of downs. Now Garner keeping it on the read option keeper, and Garner is going to be hit down after a gain of, 18 yards or so? 21 yards. Really big run for Garner there, and it gets them into Cardinals territory. Now Jacob on the delayed stretch. Oh, man, pushing Jalen Thompson off of him with a mean stiff arm, has a gain of 23, and they're in the red zone already. Arizona's defense just not having any answers so far. Here they are, Garner dropping back, looking right side, has a man. No, he doesn't. Going to be forced out of the hands of Hunter Renfrow by Jalen Johnson, and that's going to be a battle to watch all day. We got these corners lining up, traveling according to, who the best receivers are. So you'll see a lot of Stinson and Devontae Adams as the pass is knocked away there. Now 3rd and 10, going to a bunch look on the right-hand side. Garner dropping back. He's going to step up in the pocket and take it himself. Arizona, no one able to stop him. He propels himself into the end zone, but there is a flag down on the play. We'll see what the call is. It's going to be illegal contact against Amani Harris, meaning the play will stand. And Travis Garner kicks off the touchdown scoring with a big run, aided, of course, by the flag. And with the extra point, the Raiders with a 9-0 lead here, not even 4 minutes into the ball game, as Antonio Gibson checks in and has a hole. Gibson trying to find some more space, and he has 13 yards down to the 40-yard line. Now going to a trips look left side. Roberts, here he is, looking deep, has Rashad Bateman, and Bateman is gone. Bateman diving into the end zone for the Arizona touchdown. And the Raiders, who had such a positive first defensive possession, just 2 plays later, finds themselves with a little bit less leeway after Rashad Bateman beats his man off the line. Looks like Cam Dantzler, and they're going to go for 2 to try to keep this within striking distance, and he's going to look for Trey McBride. Had Max Crosby in coverage. He's a great pass rusher. Not sure he's the guy I want to have there in coverage, but they do. Arizona just 1 point behind now, as he's going to have Jacoby Myers for a gain of about 18 yards there, down to the 43-yard line. And I just want to say the thinking with that 2-point conversion, we're down by 9 points, right? With a touchdown and an extra point, we go down by 2, meaning if they get another touchdown with their extra point, we continue to stay down 9. Now, at this point, if we're able to stop them at some point from getting into the end zone, if they do get into the end zone, as looking deep, pass knocked away by Amani Harris. If they get into the end zone and score, now that we have the 2-point conversion, it will remain a 1-possession game rather than a 2-possession game. And it looks like we're going to get one of those possessions back, as Lewis Seen coming in like a missile, hitting Josh Jacobs low, not giving him the opportunity to go through him. Raiders punt it away. Arizona now back on offense. Roberts going to hand off Ty Davis-Price, and Davis-Price has some space up the middle, has a gain of 11 down to the 30-yard line. Now 1st and 10. Roberts remaining under center, 2 tight end look. They're going to hand it off to Trey McBride, exactly, to Ty Davis-Price once again, who has a gain of just 1 there before being stopped by Romeo Okwara. Now 2nd and 9. Here's Roberts, fakes the handoff, keeps it himself on the keeper, trying to make a move, but the ball is forced out of his hands on the ground, recovered by Max Crosby. Max Crosby, who's already forced a safety on the strip sack, now taking advantage of the ball knocked free, jumps on top of it, and the Raiders only need 32 yards to get into the end zone once again, but B.J. Ojulari makes sure that they bump that back a little bit, getting there to seal the edge for a loss of 4 on Josh Jacobs. Now 2nd and 14. Here's Garner in the shotgun. Garner trying to roll around, find somewhere to go with the ball. Not going to be able to get it out of his hands. B.J. Ojulari in there for a sack and a loss of 10. And that may have just pushed them out of field goal range if they can't make something happen on this 3rd down play. 2 straight plays, Ojulari coming up huge, continuing his sack streak. Now at least 1 sack in all 3 postseason games. 3rd and 24 now in the shotgun, and they're lining up in the trips look. Garner trying to roll away, gonna have to throw it away, nowhere to go with the ball, and they're gonna punt. Huge defensive stand there by Arizona, and they are going to hand off to Ty Davis-Price on their first play of the following possession. Gain of just 3. The Raiders have been doing a really good job of, keeping the running game in front of them, as here's Glenn Roberts firing one deep for Rashad Bateman, and he has him across midfield for a gain of 29 yards to bring the first quarter to a close, with the Raiders leading 9-8. Both offenses looking about the same, and it's been a fun one so far. 3 more quarters to go. Handoff to Ty Davis-Price, and just an update, Trayvon Merrick, Tyree Wilson, and Patrick Queen all inactive for this ball game. So that's a starting linebacker, a starting edge rusher, and a starting safety, all unavailable, which is not what you want to see in a Super Bowl, despite them really seeming like they're not nursing any injuries as Roberts completes another pass. They're now 3rd and 3. Roberts bringing a man in motion. It's Claypool. He's going to snap it quickly, trying to set up the screen to Ty Davis Price, but it's going to be Phillip Cooper up the middle on the pressure and on the sack. Not enough time for Roberts to really let things come into motion. Instead, he's going to be sacked out of field goal range. Cardinals will be forced to punt. Raiders back on offense now. First possession of the second quarter. Garner starting off under center, faking the handoff to Josh Jacobs, who picks up the blitz perfectly by Zaven Collins, and Garner going to end up throwing this one out of bounds over the head of his tight end, Michael Mayer. Now 2nd and 10. Here's Garner going short, has Devontae Adams again, but he is going to be injured on the play. Walking back to the locker room, you see really struggling to put weight on that right foot, and we'll get an update on that very, very shortly. Now 3rd and 8. Garner looking across the middle, has Michael Mayer, and Mayer has the first down, gain of 13 there to pick up the first, his first catch of the Super Bowl. And unfortunately for the Raiders, wide receiver Devontae Adams ruled out for the remainder of the ball game. And with a sprained ankle, and that is going to be a huge loss for a Raiders offense that has relied on him very heavily in getting to this point. But that means we'll see a little bit more of the second-year receiver Wilson, who's going to be lined up on the right boundary more often than not, with Hunter Renfrow filling in for them in the slot, or not filling in. That's really been his primary role. But now 2nd and 13. Garner under center. He's going to hand off to Josh Jacobs once again, but Cam Wilhelm in there to stop him before he really gets going. Brings it back to a 3rd and 10. It's almost like nothing happened those first 2 plays. 3 tight end look. Here's Garner dropping way back. Garner rolling to his left, trying to drop it off, but not able to. He's going to be hit before he can get the ball, or before he can really get the ball in an accurate space, and they're going to punt it away. Really good punt, though, has the Cardinals pinned at their own 8-yard line, and they start this drive off with a run to Ty Davis Price left side, who only gets about 1. Now trips look to the left, bringing McBride in line, handoff Antonio Gibson, and Gibson has a gain of 6 down to the 16. It'll be 3rd and 3, and the last thing you want is to squander another good defensive possession, as here's Rashad Bateman coming across the formation as well, and they're going to give the quick throw out to Rondale Moore, who's going to be hit short of the first down. And with the way that these two defenses have been playing, don't want to risk it, don't want to give the Raiders the ball with an opportunity to have to go, only half the length of the field or so. They're going to elect to punt. Raiders start off at their own 40-yard line. Nothing there for Josh Jacobs. It'll be a 2nd and 10 now. Garner, again, loving that trips formation, this time on the left-hand side. Here's Garner looking deep, has a man. It's Wilson who beats Amani Harris. Huge play there from Wilson. Right before the 2-minute warning. It's 9-8. This has been a defensive slugfest, but Wilson, with one of the biggest plays of the game so far for either team offensively, may have just saved their possession, but Cam Wilhelm does have something to say about that, bringing down Travis Garner for a loss of 7 on the linebacker blitz. Now a 2nd and 17. Here's Garner looking, scanning, going across the middle of the field for Jacoby Myers. And Zaven Collins not quite able to disrupt that. It'll be a 3rd and 4 after a huge second down pickup of 13. Fake to Josh Jacobs, looking right side, has Michael Mayer once again. And Mayer rolls out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Now going back to that bunch look left that they love so much. Here's Garner looking right side, trying to find Myers again, but instead going to find Jalen Johnson. Led the league in interceptions this season, gets another one here in the Super Bowl, and it couldn't have come at a bigger moment. Raiders threatening And with so little time left on the clock, they also get the ball at the half. And a touchdown there could have let them double dip a little bit, so to speak. Jalen Johnson puts an end to it. Arizona, 3 timeouts now, 45 seconds to go. Roberts airing one deep for Rashad Bateman. Not going to be able to get it there, knocked away, leading to a 2nd and 10. Very similar formation to what they just ran, bringing Trey McBride off of the line this time. Roberts, 2nd and 10, trying to throw one short to Rashad Bateman, but pressure in his face. He gets it away, but just barely. Now 3rd and 10. And at this point, you got to think they might just be content to take it to the half, as Roberts handing off to Ty Davis-Price, and Max Crosby not going to be able to get there on the dive. Davis-Price down the left sideline. Price has space. Price bouncing off of one more tackle. That is a 64-yard carry for Ty Davis-Price. He had been swallowed up all game, hadn't really been able to make anything happen. But on what seemed like a kind of give-up play, Davis-Price carries it all the way to the Raiders' 16-yard line. And now Arizona is back in business, still with all 3 timeouts with 28 seconds to go until the half. Here's Roberts. A quick bubble to Rondale Moore, who could have gotten outside, didn't quite get there quickly enough. They'll call a timeout. 9 yards to go, 2nd and 3, bringing Antonio Gibson to the left-hand side. Roberts going to hike it, going to go quickly to Rondale Moore, who's lit up there by Gil Henson. But it'll be a 1st and goal now. Here's Roberts going up the middle, fighting forward into the end zone for the Cardinals touchdown. And right before halftime, Glenn Roberts, who hasn't had a whole lot of success outside of really that one play to Rashad Bateman through the air, is really making things interesting as his scramble makes it a 15-9 ball game at the half, with the Raiders getting the ball out of the half. Both offenses really not looking great in the face of what have been fantastic defensive performances. And you got to think, for Arizona, with the Raiders down 3 defensive starters, I mean, how much better could they have looked? But fortunately, the Ty Davis-Price run, huge part of the first half, ends with points. Cardinals are going to be up by 6. And at halftime, we wanted to make some adjustments. We've liked what we've seen, or we haven't liked what we've seen out of the passing game. So we're going to go ahead and try to really put an emphasis on the inside running. And defensively, with no Davante Adams for the remainder of the game, outside of Wilson, they don't really have a deep threat. And so we think that defending the short pass is going to be our best bet, as first play of the second half, handoff to Josh Jacobs, who only is going to get about 1 there, down to the 26. So now 2nd and 9, Garner lining back up under center. Garner takes the snap, has a man short. It's going to be the second-year man, Wilson, once again. They're going to have a 3rd and 1. You got to look to convert this. First possession, got to establish some more momentum. Handoff, Josh Jacobs, and he's going to be pushed forward for the first down. Looked like we were going to have him wrapped up. Instead, he picks it up. Fresh set of downs for the Raiders. And here's Garner again, looking, trying to find his man Renfro. Just not on the same page there, leading to a 2nd and 10. You see Arizona really stacking that box up, and Garner is going to be on the run and brought down by Juan Drummond, the dynamic second-year defensive lineman, making an impact here in the Super Bowl. Saw all the praise being heaped on B.J. Ojulari. Wanted to let folks know, hey, he's not the only one on this defensive front. Gets in there, forcing them into a long 3rd and 19. And this will be a really tough one to manage there. Arizona playing pretty lax off the line. Screen set up for Josh Jacobs. Has a gain of 17. Amani Harris, fortunately, going to bring him down before he gets to that first down marker, forcing a 4th down and a punt. Arizona back on offense. Handoff, Ty Davis-Price up the middle, and Davis-Price has a gain of about 6 yards there, down to the 26. Now 2nd and 4. Here's Roberts, again in the shotgun, bringing Rondale Moore across this time. And he's going to quickly hand it off to Antonio Gibson, who gets some good blocking around the outside, misses one man, makes another man miss, and he's down to the 37-yard line. Gibson, 30 yards on just 3 carries so far in this Super Bowl. And we know how big of an impact he's had on this offense the whole year, as he's going to get another stretch give left side. Or that wasn't a stretch. That was an inside zone. But once again, going to get it for good yardage. Gain of 11 down to the 48-yard line. 1st and 10. Roberts transitioning under center. Davis Price checked back into the game. And Roberts going to go across the middle over top of the head of Gil Henson. Has Rashad Bateman. Talk about a tight window throw. Had Henson been paying attention, could have potentially been picked off. It wasn't, though. They're lucky. Going into the 2 tight end look now. Roberts faking the handoff to Ty Davis Price, rolling to his right. This has been a bread and butter of this offense all year, but can't get on the same page with Elijah Higgins. Not sure if it went through his hands or if he just missed the throw, but either way, 2nd down, pass left side to Rondale Moore, who secures it for a gain of 15 before being slammed into the ground. 1st and 10 now, 20 yards between them and the end zone. Roberts across the middle. Chase Claypool makes a move, breaks off of 1 tackle, has a gain of 15 there down to the 5-yard line. And we've already seen Davante Adams not return in this game after injury. Now Jamal Coleman, rookie defensive tackle, out as well. And we'll get an update on his status a little bit later. Also, 1st and goal, handoff Davis Price, really good blocking, pushes it outside, gets into the end zone for the Cardinals touchdown. And the first half, man, outside of that last drive from Arizona, really didn't look like it was going to, be a whole lot to get offensively, but they've turned it around here in the second half, finding the end zone for the first time in it, and they're going to go for 2 once again. Roberts quickly to Rondale Moore, who holds on through a heavy contact, and he's loving it. The team's loving it. Arizona with a 14-point lead now as Las Vegas back on offense, and here's Garner going to hand off to Josh Jacobs. Drops him after a gain of about 2. Jacobs just 36 yards on 11 carries so far, a hair over 3 a carry, as he's going to get it left side this time. Cam Wilhelm in pursuit, not going to get him. Jalen Johnson, the last one who's going to be able to get there, but Josh Jacobs breaks off the tackle, and he's going to be into the end zone. Saw Ty Davis Price get into the end zone, saw him have a long run to set up a touchdown before the half, and he wants to show that he's just as capable of a back as Davis Price is. A 73-yard run for Josh Jacobs to really propel this Raiders offense here in the second half. They're within 1 possession again. Ty Davis Price, 9 carries, 96 yards, and a score. Back out onto the field and up 7 points. This is a big possession for Arizona. Getting some points, keeping some more pressure on that Raiders offense, who is without Davante Adams for the remainder of the game, should be their top priority as they hand things off to Davis Price once again. But Max Crosby not to be fooled in there on the dive, able to bring him down. 2nd and 9 now. Roberts looking, trying to find Trey McBride, but he's intercepted. Glenn Roberts picked by Marcus May. And we have seen a number of these interceptions that Glenn Roberts has thrown tend to come when targeting the middle of the field. Marcus May fooled him, made him think he was going to keep running with Rashad Bateman. Instead, turns around, fills in the gap right in front of Trey McBride. He's in there for the interception. And the Raiders now have new life, seemingly grabbing momentum away from this Cardinals team. And here's Wilson again, who's been a big part of what this offense has done since Davante Adams has gone out, down to the 11-yard line. 1st and 10 now, 11 yards to go. Here's Garner. He has time. Garner rolling right, trying to find Josh Jacobs. Not going to be able to hit him on that occasion. Falls harmlessly to the ground out of bounds. Now they're in the empty look. Garner, here he is, dropping back again. Looking left side, has a man. It's Jacoby Myers. And Myers has a gain of 4 yards. 3rd and 6. Field goal wouldn't be the end of the world, but you want to get something here. Can't afford a turnover. Garner dropping back, taking the snap, looking right side, and Zaven Collins all over him. Jalen Johnson was also in there on the stop, but Zaven Collins, fortunately, in the way, thanks to where his man's route was going, and the Raiders will send in Daniel Carlson for the 3 points. He's going to connect as he generally does. Raiders within 4 points. Arizona back on offense. Quick throw to Rashad Bateman once again. Bateman has it for a gain of 17. And Roberts, 10 of 14, 168, a touchdown and a pick. Obviously the pick is not ideal, but, you got to think that Glenn Roberts has been doing what's asked of him. He's been leading this offense efficiently, letting the running backs take a little bit of pressure off of him as he connects with Rondale Moore to end the third quarter. Moore, 5 catches, 45 yards here so far, and that will bring us to the fourth and final quarter. Just 1 quarter separating either of these teams from a Super Bowl victory, and Arizona has it with the opportunity to make it a 2-possession game, really keep the pressure on the Raiders. Roberts, handoff, no, quick screen out to Rashad Bateman, and Bateman is going to power forward for a gain of 8 into Vegas territory at the 42-yard line. 2nd and 2. Handoff, Davis Price, who gets a gap up the middle, makes a move. Davis Price going to be hit down after a gain of 13. He's now over 100 yards on the day, averaging a nice crisp 10 yards a carry, 11 for 110 and a score. Here's Roberts now trying to set up a screen for Ty Davis Price, but Bilal Nichols is having none of it. Nichols saw it the whole way, really put the pressure on Roberts. Roberts just sensed it a little bit too late, wasn't able to use his legs to get out of there. Nichols has the sack for the Raiders, forcing the Cardinals into a long 2nd down. It'll be 2nd and 24 now, as Gibson checked into the game, and he's going to get the quick pass out to the left. Gain of 4 yards there, brought down by Cam Dantzler. Now 3rd and 20, going into that empty look. Roberts deciding to keep it himself. Don't want to risk a sack. Want to just get down, stay in field goal range. Has a gain of 7. And they're going to go ahead and send out Cameron Dicker, their phenomenal kicker, who's been money all season. Kick is up good and right down the middle. Arizona taking a 7-point lead, pushing it forward. Raiders now with an opportunity to respond, down just 1 score. And this Raiders offense has done a really good job adjusting in the absence of Davante Adams, as here's Garner looking left side for Jacoby Myers, pass knocked away. And they've had 138 total yards of passing offense today. Of course, not going to be easy to, keep the pace up passing the ball with no Davante Adams. They've had to lean on guys that they haven't leaned on as heavily as they are this game. So they've still done a really good job, all things considered. 3rd and 10. Here's Garner rolling left. B.J. Ojulari in pursuit, forces a throwaway from Garner. And with 6:52 to go, they're going to set up a 4th down. And look, had Garner just threw it to either Jacobs or Michael Mayer, assuming he could get it to them, would have been an easy 1st down. Instead, the Raiders punt, and the Cardinals back on offense as Ty Davis Price has another big carry, looking left side, 21 yards into Vegas territory, 40-yard line, and the Cardinals now seemingly finding their mojo at the right time. We've seen them have huge offensive explosions. This has not been one of those days. Instead, they've been relying really heavily on this defense to really hold the Raiders down in what's been, while they've tried to pick up their flow a little bit on the offensive end. Now 3rd and 6, 4:55 to go here in the Super Bowl. Quick throw right side to Antonio Gibson. No one is home, and Gibson has a 10-yard grab down to the 26-yard line, bringing up a fresh set of downs. And at this point, Arizona playing a little bit of keep away as Roberts gets the carry or keeps it on the read option, slides down at the 16-yard line, and they're really taking their time, letting this clock drain down after each and every snap, as Davis Price once again for the 1st down. Now coming up to 3 minutes to go. Roberts stepping back, has a man again. It's Gibson left side, but he is going to unfortunately be pushed out of bounds. That stops the clock, leading to a 2nd and 4, bringing Trey McBride to the left-hand side. You see the bump down there on the back end from the Raiders, and it'll be a 3rd and 4 now. 4 yards between them and another 1st down, 8 yards between them and another touchdown. as here they are flipping the play around. Roberts fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, could have decided to go and throw, but doesn't. Hit down by Max Crosby, but across that first down line. And talk about big time. Glenn Roberts has had so many big plays in the Super Bowl with his legs, has another one there. First down, and at this point, the Raiders going to have to start using some of those timeouts, which is not ideal as the Cardinals are in easy field goal range. First and goal. Roberts faking the handoff. Max Crosby was fooled. The rest of the Raiders line was not. Roberts having to throw that one away. Now second and goal. 3 yards to go. Handoff. Big fullback Darnell Washington. He has a gain of just 1. Raiders now using their first timeout. Third and goal from the 2. Bringing Xander Horvath across to the left-hand side. Roberts hands off. Davis Price. Welcome to the end zone for the second time in this ball game. Touchdown, Arizona. And if the pressure wasn't already being felt on that Raiders sideline, that touchdown surely has to, at least get into the heads of some of those Vegas players, as now a 2-possession game with the Raiders just 2 timeouts and down 14 points. Minute 49 to go. Raiders on offense, and you need to be quick on this possession. You got to think about these timeouts that you really don't have anymore, as he connects there with Jacoby Myers to the 42-yard line, and they're going to be in massive hurry-up mode. The remainder of this drive has Michael Mayer this time across the middle, and he's going to beat Jalen Thompson on that occasion. 41 yards to go. They're moving, staying in that trips look. Here's Garner looking, has a man. It's Myers again, and Jacoby Myers, a 22-yard connection from him to Garner. First and 10, 50 seconds to go. Garner staying in the shotgun, fakes the play action, good blitz pickup, going to the end zone, and he's going to find Jalen Thompson. Jalen Thompson, been with this defense since day number 1. Stayed with us through the Budda Baker trade. Wasn't happy, as they were really, really good friends, outside of the field, or off the field, I guess would be the more appropriate thing to say there. And he's gone from being on one of the worst teams in the league to now a back-to-back Super Bowl champion. And it's thanks to his final play, picking off Garner in the end zone, finishing off the second-year bowl. Raiders going to use their last timeout. Cardinals going to go ahead and run one more play to go ahead and get this one in the books. Ty Davis Price gets it. Gain of 1 there. See, look, I was a little bit ahead of myself. That was the Raiders' final timeout there. Now 2nd and 9, bringing Rashad Bateman across the formation. Handoff, Davis Price again to just seal it, and Davis Price down after a gain of 7. Gonna go ahead and come out. Didn't want to do victory formation. Wanted to go ahead and just soak in the victory, and that will do it. Your Arizona Cardinals coming out on top, 33-19. And who would have thought that the Raiders, a team that did win their division in a lackluster AFC East, or AFC West rather, coming in at 9-8, not having to go on the road at all during their run in the playoffs, would have been this Cardinals team's hardest and most difficult game. Of course, aided by an unfortunate injury to Devontae Adams, and then later standout defensive tackle Jamal Coleman. And they are on top of the world. 2 years in a row, 2 Lombardis, 2 different quarterbacks, and vindication for Glenn Roberts. You see him just soaking in the moment. He's happy. Arizona's happy. Can't feel good enough, man, for this Cardinals team. Had problems all season at the quarterback position. Roberts really didn't start to step up and show that he might be the guy until really, really late into the year, and ended the year as one of just a few quarterbacks in history to finish with 50 touchdowns in a year. And let's go ahead and take a look. These teams, man, 400 yards of offense for Arizona compared to 338 for the Raiders. Impressed that they were able to outduel us through the air. missing Devontae Adams, 2 turnovers apiece. 4 of 7 on third down for us, 5 of 11 for the Raiders. Really good conversion rates there. 2 for 2 for us on 2-point conversions was huge. Travis Garner, 17 of 31, 223, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Glenn Roberts, 15 of 20, 212, a touchdown and a pick. And you got to feel for Garner, man. Led his team to the number 1 seed a season ago, and ultimately was not able to even win a single playoff game. This time, the worst team by record in the AFC playoffs, and gets them to the Super Bowl. There's no shame in being outgunned by this Cardinals team that has looked like they're ready to go on a complete tear. Ty Davis Price, 20 for 168 and 2 scores. Josh Jacobs, 12 for 109 and a touchdown. We saw Garner get into the end zone as well as Roberts. As far as passing the ball or catching the ball, Rashad Bateman leading all teams, 5 for 129 and a touchdown. Patrick Wilson coming in on short notice for 4 for 75. Rondale Moore getting 5 for 45. Didn't have a catch in that fourth quarter. A lot of guys here getting in on the action. Devontae just 2 catches for 9 yards before unfortunately exiting the game. Defensively, Marcus May and Christopher Smith with 12 and 10 tackles respectively. BJ Ojulari and Lewis Seen each with 2 tackles for loss. Ojulari, Juan Drummond, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 different guys in this game getting sacks. No one having more than 1. Interceptions, we know Marcus May had 1 for the Raiders. Jalen Johnson and Jalen Thompson both with huge interceptions. Jalen Johnson's really might have been the biggest of the game, because without that, the Raiders could have potentially gone up multiple possessions. Instead, and you see Max Crosby forcing a fumble and recovering a fumble. Man, what a game from Max Crosby, who really did all he could for this short-handed defense. And man, what an unbelievable year. What a time. It's going to be time for these guys to just go ahead and soak it in. You see Ty Davis Price getting another upgrade here, and he's a true 94 overall, playing up to a 99. And man, I mean, how good does it look by this front office to go into their first year and pick up Ty Davis Price, who, was basically gifted from the 49ers, and to have him be the guy, as you see our contract gets extended there, be the guy who really, carries us to the finish line. Couldn't have asked for anything more as we advance here into our past Super Bowl week, into the recap week, as here we are, staff week, man. And, looking at the recap, I mean, I'd have a hard time not seeing one of those guys on defense who caught picks being the Super Bowl MVP. Let's take a look, and it is Ty Davis Price, the guy that we just gave high praise to, the guy that made sure we got a touchdown before the end of the first half, and the guy who ultimately sealed the deal in the second half. That's now back-to-back years that we have won the Super Bowl. It was a 3-point contest a year ago, 14-point contest this time around. And, something to just really think about. How many teams have three-peated in the NFL? It's never happened. So your Arizona Cardinals are going to have an opportunity to do something that nobody has ever done. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We're going to go ahead and soak in the glory of this second Super Bowl win. Head coach Mike White proving that even though he's a defensive guy, he has what it takes to get it done. Got it done with a backup quarterback in Josh Dobbs last year by going through the ground game in the playoffs. Gets it done this year by making sure that his young quarterback keeps his confidence and understands that this team is behind him 100%. But that is going to do it for this season, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. It was a blast. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, man. We'll be back next time for the off season. As always, be sure to like and subscribe should you feel so inclined. Until next time, have a great rest of y'all day, and peace.